Hello everyone, my name is C.H. Miles. I am one of the members of DeviantArt. I am also a member of Sketch Card Artists, which is a group on DeviantArt. It seems like there's a need for tutorials about some of the basics of sketch cards. Maybe you are interested in doing it and haven't gotten an answer. I have to admit that when I first started drawing and doing stuff, I didn't get a lot of answers either. So this first one is basically, I'm going to tell you what sketch cards are and show you how to make your own so that you can start doing this, and then I'll do another group of tutorials after that, covering the tools that you'll use, or the marker techniques, some of the different ways that you can produce sketch cards that you can either sell or keep or give to your friends, or however you want to do it. So let me just start by saying what a sketch card is. A sketch card, as you can see, is just basically, it's a baseball card sized piece of paper with personal hand-drawn drawings on it. This is not a printed card. This is just a piece of Bristol board that I've cut and then drawn on to produce this drawing. Now, you don't have to print up cards. I mean, as you can see, this one here, this is done by Doug Rigsby, who is a friend of mine on DeviantArt. Good guy. Big fan of Hellboy. Maybe you didn't notice here. As you can see, though, Doug basically prints up his cards, and they've got a backing on them with his DeviantArt address on the bottom there. If you can't see it, you can also look on my page. I go by the name WriterMan34 because originally I wanted to write comics, not draw them. See how that worked out. Anyway, so these are cards that are 2.5 by 3.5. Now there are wide vision cards, which I have not done, so I don't know anything about them. I haven't tried to draw them. I kind of like the look. It looks like it's something that Topps started to do, so a lot of artists are trying that. So I might just do a whole tutorial on the wide vision cards another time. It's not something I want to mess with right now, as I don't have any pre-cut, so I can't really show you what I'm talking about anyway. You could go as far as putting Bristol card in your printer and just printing up your own. I know that another artist, Lancer X on DeviantArt, does basically the same thing. He cuts his to shape out of Bristol board, and then he places a sticker over the back that gives him basically the same effect that Doug has achieved here by pre-printing. But to start out, you can cut your own. Put your Doug back in his little Mylar sleeve. I would have shown you some other cards, but they're all basically displayed, hung up on the wall, so Doug's was the only one I had out and available. This is a paper cutter. You can get this at Walmart or whatever. It has a ruler that slides out of it. I'll give you a little bit of a measurement there. This is what I use to cut mine up. You could probably do it with scissors, not that I would recommend it, but it's something you can do. What I cut mine out of, this is basically a piece of Canson comic book art paper. It's 11 by 17. You can buy these in packs. Stuff you can get at, I don't know that I've ever seen it at Hobby Lobby. I actually got mine at Michael's. I will tell you that there are a couple of websites One is dickblick.com. If you can find stuff there, that's cool, but I use two different websites. I use Dick Blick, and they're relatively cheap. Some of the other equipment that I'll cover in other ones, I've gotten through them. But there's also a store called Carpe Diem, which is cheaper than Dick Blick. The problem is they don't have the selection that Dick Blick has. So generally I check Carpe Diem first, and then I go to Dick Blick. To cut your cards, some people use these to make comic sheets. I think this is 2-ply Bristol, which is pretty decent for what you're going to do anyway. So what I basically do is I just get the cutter out here, bring the cutting arm out, and I basically just cut out, I'm going to step out of the way here, I just cut out cards. You can start with the 2.5 measurement or the 3.5, it doesn't matter, because you're pretty much just going to cut them up anyway. You want to make sure that the cutter itself is pretty sharp, because you're going to get kind of a little bit of an edge there, and that's okay. Most people don't care about it anyway. Okay, so I went with the 3.5 first, so now I cut the 2.5, and now you have a sketch card that you can sketch on. As you can see, it's right dimensions. And then basically you just cut up the rest of the sheet of paper. You could, theoretically use the cardstock for other stuff if you don't want to just cut up cards. I probably am just going to make these 4 cards here as demonstration purposes here. You just use them in the other tutorials that I do later on. And you want to make sure that you're holding it in there kind of firm, because if you don't, it will slide and you'll have crooked cards, and you do not want that. And you are, of course, going to end up with a little bit of nothing that you really can't do anything with. I guess you could draw tiny little cards on that if you wanted, but most people just toss them in the trash. So anyway, there you have it. 4 sketch cards. You'll notice that if you use these, they're going to have the blue on the back. I draw on the white side. And it looks like it's actually time for me to change out my blade, because these are getting kind of rough here. But for all intents and purposes, that's the basics of how to cut your own cards. And then you can either, I'm not entirely sure off that Lancer how he does his, but you can get stickers and put them on the back to make them look like they're pre-printed cards. Anyway, so there's the basics. That's cutting your own cards. That's all there really is to it, and then you can just basically start drawing at that point. Next tutorial, I believe, is going to be equipment. So I'll give you a couple of hints on some equipment that you can use. Alright, well, check out Sketch Card Artist. Check out DeviantArt. Thanks for the look. Hope this was helpful. I'm sure the other ones will be a little bit more so. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.